Thank everyone for joining us today. So this is webinar number 2 in our kind of series. So today's topic is aligning technology with lean processes. So today we'll go quite slowly because I can see we've got kind of people from all over the world. And I just want to make sure everyone understands, as this is quite kind of a wordy topic and kind of probably one of the harder ones. So we'll take it nice and slowly and just kind of go through everything. There will be a question session at the end. So if anyone has any questions, like last week, I'll invite Dr. Bhargav or someone from VisileAN to turn on their mics and answer a few questions. So this webinar series is about digitizing construction. Each week, we'll talk about a different aspect of digital construction and the principles behind it. But what's important to ensure is that you transition in the right manner. There is no point in kind of technological implementation without aligning your teams and processes as well. Okay, so the past webinar we did last week's on our YouTube channel, and registration is now open for all of the other webinars in the next kind of few weeks. So if you go to visilean.com/webinar, you can book your places. So there are limited places, so please do book early. So like I said, today's session is about aligning technology with lean processes. And disclaimer, I do struggle to say processes sometimes when I talk. Next week, we've got production planning. The week after that is production management. Then we've got lean BIM integration. And then we end with progress visualization. So like I said, we will try and get a few kind of people from the industry to do a few talks. So you won't kind of be bored with me by the end of it. So we mentioned this last week, but COVID-19 has kind of hit the construction industry globally, and it's facing a completely new challenge. Construction projects are working at a reduced capacity, and the majority of personnel are being forced to work from home. While for many large organizations which already have well-organized working from home policies, this is reasonably manageable. However, many SMEs are probably having to deal with this kind of process change for the first time. Whether the teams are big or small, collaboration and communication are key to a project success. So the impact on the industry is huge. Firstly, people are working from, so work has come to a complete halt or slow down drastically. And even when work does start to kind of restart in the coming weeks, it will be at reduced capacity due to isolation and social distancing. So I did this poll last week, so sorry if you've already answered this, but we're just trying to collect data to see kind of who this is affecting, and we can kind of take that from whether people are around the world. So who is still able to work at the moment? So yes, if you're working on site, no, if you're not, and then working from home. Okay, so the majority of people are, I don't know if you guys can see this, but working from home or able to work on site at a reduced capacity. So hopefully those that are working from home kind of understand the need for kind of these digital tools and collaboration. So right now, governments across the globe are laying out guidelines regarding working on site. If there isn't a complete restriction of work, guidelines for safe practices have been set out to ensure social distancing, as well as best practices in terms of health and safety for everyone on site. For everyone else, work from home has been advised globally. This implies that planners, managers, and kind of HO level senior management are all limited to working from homes across the globe. This is what things are looking like right now, and this has created a requirement for site progress to be managed remotely while being reported across the globe on various different platforms. So let's begin with session 2, aligning technology with lean processes. So current project management attempts to manage scheduling, cost, and output measures, but these are not always effective. From the beginning, construction projects are managed by breaking them into tasks or activities, estimating the time and money to complete each activity, applying the critical path method to identify a logical order, and then either contracting externally or assigning internally to establish responsibility. So in both cases, activities are treated the same. Project managers use the schedule to determine when each activity should start and push for work to begin on the earliest date. Basically, current project management attempts to manage activities by centrally applied scheduling and to control them using output measures. It fails to manage activities and misses entirely the management of workflow and the creation and delivery of value. So just talk a bit about lean theory. So since the mid-1990s, lean construction has emerged as a new concept, both in construction management and construction as a whole. The creation of value in construction projects has a particularly strong place in the philosophy that lean construction is based upon. Lean is a way to design production systems to minimize waste of materials, time, and effort in order to generate maximum possible value. So just do another quick poll here, just to make sure people aren't sleeping. Who is familiar with the last planner system? Virtually everyone. So we might as well stop the webinar there because everyone's experts. Joking. So just check which slide I was on. Okay, so production theory can be broken down into the transformation, flow, and value concepts, so TFV theory. Traditionally, the transformation view of production has been dominant. This is where production is seen as a transformation of inputs to outputs, breaking down the total transformation hierarchy into smaller transformations called tasks, and minimizing the cost of each task independently of the other tasks. So the transformation view of production has two main issues. Firstly, it fails to recognize that there are other ideas in production other than transformations. And secondly, it fails to recognize that it is not the transformation itself that makes the output valuable, but instead that there is value in having the output specific to the customer's requirements. Then we move into the flow view, which is where we eliminate waste from flow processes. Here, the principles like lead time reduction, variability reduction, and simplification are promoted. A third view on production is value generation, with the basic goal to reach the best possible value from the point of the customer. So the current industry requirement is not a production theory that fully integrates the transformation, flow, and value concepts, but also the right supporting tools that can enable its adoption and implementation. Lean production basically attempts to integrate these three concepts of production. So just kind of give you a bit of perspective. So lean construction is driven by three critical aspects in terms of lean perspective. Construction projects generally involve teams of varying disciplines from different parts of the globe, participating together for a fixed duration to execute and deliver complex tasks. Lean philosophy describes visualization as a great tool for offering a common language across teams. Visual management makes it so simple for people to discuss and collaborate on a project. Then collaboration becomes a critical aspect to minimize any waste in terms of information flow amongst project teams. Platforms supporting this actually make it easier for teams to discuss, participate, and voice their opinion. Then the third aspect is essential to becoming lean. Developing a lean perspective or observing processes through a lean lens is essential to making your workflow smooth and minimizing wastes. A lean perspective allows you to observe and remove the non-value adding time in your current flows and allowing you to operate only on lean value adding workflows in project delivery. So just give you a bit of a comparison between lean and traditional. So there's a lot to take in here. So I'm going to try and do it nice and slowly just so everyone can understand. So the phrase project delivery system has traditionally been used to indicate the contractual structure of the project. For example, things like design, bid, build, or design and build. Delivery, in this sense, is a type of transaction, and the key question becomes about how to structure the transaction. In contrast, the lean construction community understands delivery in terms of the actual work processes used to move an idea from concept to customer. Traditional project delivery systems focus on the task of project delivery and neglect both value maximization and waste minimization. This approach confuses the task view with managing the project. A lean system is structured, controlled, and improved in pursuit of all three goals. For example, the transformation, flow, and value goals we spoke about earlier. Traditionally, decisions are simply kind of thrown over the wall, as they say, to the next person in line, whereas the lean model creates the involvement of the downstream for decision making. With a view of generating value across the project and for all of the stakeholders involved, the lean model specifies the development of product, as well as process and design are both in sync. This is in contrast to the traditional approach of first the product is designed and then the contractors are generally called in after that to start work. To minimize waste in terms of waiting, inventory, or excess production, the lean model focuses on finishing work at the last responsible moment. Traditionally, we have all had problems with trying to push work out as soon as possible. Either the next person in line is not ready, or the job isn't fully complete, or the material or manpower are just not ready or available. So throughout the whole lean process, learning is organic and just happens naturally. And then with the entire team aligned towards generating value for the end customer, the collaboration becomes much stronger when using a lean model. This aligned process allows for reliability amongst the entire chain of project delivery. So projects are structured to pursue the TFV goals by using several principles. So as mentioned on the previous slide, some of the techniques include involving downstream players in upstream decisions, deferring commitments to the last responsible moment, and aligning the interest of all participants. So these largely kind of make up the fundamentals for lean production planning. Within the projects, improvement is closely linked to control. So lean production management involves a close make-ready process to make sure the assignments are checked for prerequisites, such as material, space, and manpower. Only when these are checked can work actually start. Commitment-based planning, using the last planner system, tracks how reliable the plan is through its percent plan complete measurement, and also identifies reasons the plan might be failing. A lean production management model defines control by assessing the situation, establishing the root cause, and coming up with solutions towards continuous improvement. With this approach, the solutions get used across the whole organization over multiple projects and doesn't just remain limited to kind of the one project. So implementing a digital lean approach in existing organizations or with people used to working in a certain way is difficult at the beginning. Everyone will probably kind of see that. Lean-based project management requires changes in individual behaviors and lots of effort to overcome the ways and habits people are used to. Implementing lean construction requires the application of a new way to design project-based production systems. The change required is huge, and changing the way people have worked for years is hard, but rewarding. Changing procedures, techniques, and corporate systems is actually the easy part. Changing minds is the biggest challenge. So the factors driving change are kind of pretty obvious at the moment. So COVID-19 has forced people to work from home, and hopefully people understand the need for lean and digital tools and the ability to collaborate from wherever they are. Another key way of driving change is getting people to understand the benefits. So we've seen this so many times when we go with Visilean to different sites that people use our system and straight away they realize things are done automatically. And the first thing they say is, oh, great, we don't have to go chase that person or manually send information or anything like that. So as soon as they can see the benefits, you can start to kind of get buy-in to the change. Another method of kind of driving change is run some pilots to get people on board and kind of fully understand your processes. No one gets things right straight away, and it can take a few months to get comfortable with a new process. And then lastly, kind of discipline and training is essential. So it's really easy for people to revert back to the old way of working when things don't go well. But with discipline and continuous kind of training, people can stick with things until they become successful. So that's really important. So this is something we covered in last week's webinar, but I just wanted to bring it up again. So it's essential to align technology with people and processes. The same is true for kind of aligning technology with lean processes. A top-down approach of deploying any lean solution is not going to guarantee results. It is equally important to align the solution to your existing processes, the mindset of your people, and then kind of gradually and incrementally introduce process change towards a leaner model of production delivery. So going digital with lean is broken up into parts. Firstly, you provide a common platform to everyone, for everyone to work from. Then you provide a visual ecosystem for everyone to understand and collaborate on. Provide the tools that enable pool planning and allow people to make really realistic commitments. Then you offer tools and information in line with the requirements of all the stakeholders and decision makers. Then you identify and try and minimize waste. And then finally, you provide kind of lean data to continuously improve performance. So that's a trend that you'll always see, trying to get data, continuously improve, never settle. What can you take on to the next project, even if you're building something a bit different? So this is just a glimpse of the Gold Command Room by Mace in Dublin, where they're using VisiLean for lean production management of a large data center project. We'll come on to this in a bit more detail throughout the series. We just want to give you a glimpse how some people are using it. So now I basically want to talk to you about how you can address kind of lean and digital using VisiLean. So we created VisiLean to harness everything we learned in lean manufacturing and bring it into digital construction sites. It's a single platform that brings everyone in the project together. It provides consistent visual management throughout the system. It provides a digital last planner system for collaborative planning, and it allows role-specific distribution of information and control. So you can set people's roles and only they can see certain information and feedback on certain things. Also, we provide real-time updates. So we're cloud-based, so you can log in from anywhere and get real-time information. And then lastly, we provide an interactive dashboard to, like I said, continuously improve performance and predict any sort of issues and start to see if there's any kind of trends. So there are various lean solutions on the market promising various benefits. However, most of these solutions address only kind of peripheral concerns. The right alignment of lean processes with digitalization requires a solution that addresses the core of lean production management. So this penetration requires a solution developed through a pure understanding of what defines lean in its conceptual as well as practical understanding. So at VisiLean, we've kind of got 4 pillars of going digitally lean with us. So we've got mobility through our field apps. We've got collaboration through our last planner system. Then we have visualization through 3D modeling and our Gantt kind of formats. And then our dashboard, again, to improve that performance continuously. And we must love the theme of 4s, because there's actually 4 steps of going digital with VisiLean as well. So firstly, teach the foreman and people on site to update tasks. Then using our scheduler view, you set last planner meetings and get people to kind of commit to tasks. You visualize the project through our 3D modeling and Gantt format, and then live monitoring of the project through our dashboards and kind of dynamic reporting. So just to go through a few of the lean features of VisiLean with you. So the entire system is designed based on the concept of visual management. So the colors describing the task statuses are consistent throughout the whole system and even on the mobile app. This offers a kind of a common language for people to understand and collaborate on. I don't know if you can see here, but even the design tasks, which are kind of hatched here, are separate from the construction task, just to make things very simple and kind of easy to view. Visually, this is very powerful. As I can see here, I've got a red task, which means it's stopped. Straight away, I've identified an issue there without being a kind of planning expert or anything like that. Then we have our scheduler. So this is our digital version of sticky notes or the last planner system. And again, the visual management continues here as well. And it's very simple to use. So the tasks will appear at the bottom, yellow, unassigned. Then you drag them, drop them to the teams on the left-hand side or their employees. Visually, it becomes a very powerful lens to see the status of any task. So I know if I've got red tasks, that task is stopped, this could be an issue. Likewise, if I have a pink task and it's next week, that task isn't ready, I know there could also be an issue there. So again, a very powerful lens to understand visually the status of a project. Then we have our kind of 3D modeling. So I've been through this before, but visually, again, you can navigate through the model, all of the elements here on the left-hand side, so you can go into a bit more detail like that. And once you're comfortable with those kind of last two aspects, you can combine them to do 4D planning. So that's 3D plus time. What you've got here is the screen split 50-50, the scheduler or the sticky notes are at the bottom, and they're linked to the model. So when you navigate through the model, the status of those tasks will appear in the model. So visually, again, very powerful. I can see straight away that this section here is red, that's stopped. I can go down to the scheduler, I can click on it, see why it stopped, who's responsible, and any information I need. So just another tool for everyone to collaborate, whether you're a planner, whether you're the guys on site, or whether you're the BIM expert. Everyone's now collaborating off this kind of same platform. Then we've got our dashboard. So our dashboard is automatic, it generates itself. Here you can drill down into the reasons for stoppages, reasons for delays. You can measure the percentage plan complete we spoke about earlier, to start analyzing performance of teams or individuals. And then again, you can drill down visually and see the reasons for stoppages and the reasons for warnings. And all of those color codes are kind of consistent throughout the software. So reporting is simplified in our kind of table view to allow for maximum flexibility for the user. You can select the information you wish to show by choosing from the columns. You can choose the date range you wish to see the data for, and then kind of come up with your own lean data report. This customization ensures no excess or unnecessary information flows in the system. So this basically is our version of Excel. It's completely dynamic. You can select or minimize as much information as you need. As soon as someone updates something from site, it will update on this table in front of you. Unlike Excel, where you manually input information and kind of have to save it, send it around. When you're looking at this document, it is up to date and it will constantly be changing in front of your eyes. So it's a very powerful tool. Again, visually, the color codes are consistent throughout the software and allow you to understand the status of the project. I won't go into too much detail about our mobile app, but again, it's very simple. You get assigned a task, you get a notification, and you just update the progress of your task. The app is where you can see kind of all the information related to the task you've been given, and likewise, you can send information back to the software. So just to be clear, it's separate to the software, and it's just for seeing information and updating tasks. The software is where you do all your planning, your bottom-up planning, your last planner, and all your reporting. Okay. So while there are many differences between the lean approach and current practice, an important implementation milestone occurs when project organization shifts from only measuring the performance of each activity to actively improving the predictable release of work from one specialist to the next. So with VisileAn, we enable you to digitally provide this for your teams. You don't need to start with the whole kind of lean theory lessons in one go. With VisileAn, your journey towards kind of lean begins at the moment your teams start to collaborate on the platform and activate it by providing real-time data from site. So we do offer free trials of VisileAn. So if anyone is interested or would like to know a bit more, please feel free to apply for a free trial. And just a reminder again that all registrations are now open for our future webinars. So next week's one is production planning. Just go to visilean.com/webinar for that. And if anyone wishes to watch any of the other webinars and today's one, it will all be recorded and put on that same page.